VidCon 7 will be in Houston, Texas on Saturday, January 31st, 2026, and featuring some of your favorite debaters that you can come out and meet and see debating live, including David Wood, Daniel Hakikachu, Inspiring Philosophy, Mike Jones, and more. Check out the tickets right now in the description box. You don't want to miss it. We're expecting it to sell out. Grab your tickets now. Hey, everybody. Today we're debating whether or not the moon landing was fake or legitimate, and we are starting right now with Matthew's opening statement arguing that it was a hoax. Thanks for being with us. Matthew, the floor is all yours.
Okay. Before I begin, I want to give thanks to the creator of heaven and earth and to Jesus Christ, Yahushua HaMashiach. I'd like to sincerely thank Modern Day Debate for hosting this discussion. I want to thank James Coons for moderating, and I appreciate Tjump for being willing to engage in this debate. Open dialogue matters, even when there is strong disagreement. I also want to note that 2025 was a very successful year for flat earth discussion and public engagement, and I believe 2026 is going to be even better. With that said, I'm ready to present my position clearly and directly. My position is that humans did not go to the moon. This is not a claim based on missing paperwork, disputed photographs, or isolated anomalies. It is based on the far more fundamental conclusion that human travel to the moon is impossible in principle, because the moon is not a physical destination. It is a light in the firmament. From that premise, the conclusion follows necessarily: if something cannot be reached, then no one has ever reached it. This conclusion rests on how rational verification works in every other area of human life. When someone claims a past ability, the normal and logical way to evaluate that claim is to see whether the ability still exists in some demonstrable form. If a person says they can speak Greek, the test is to speak Greek. If they claim mastery of advanced mathematics, the test is to solve advanced mathematics. If someone says they can play Stairway to Heaven on guitar, including the solo, the test is to hand them a guitar. When a person cannot demonstrate even the most basic elements of the claimed ability, people do not assume the ability mysteriously vanished. They conclude correctly that the claim was never true in the first place. The moon landing claim asks us to abandon this standard completely. We are told that humanity once possessed the ability to send people across extreme distances through radiation, vacuum, thermal extremes, and complex navigational demands, land them on another world, and return them safely. Yet today, with vastly superior materials, engineering methods, computational power, automation, and accumulated scientific knowledge, that ability does not exist. Even defenders of the moon landing admit that humans cannot go to the moon now. This is not a minor inconvenience or a temporary pause. It is a complete absence of capability. Real technologies do not behave this way. When a civilization develops a genuine capability, it becomes more accessible over time. It becomes cheaper, safer, more reliable, and more integrated into society. This is true of flight, navigation, communication, medicine, and every other authentic technological breakthrough. Humanity did not fly once and then collectively forget how flight works. Civilizations do not permanently lose foundational engineering abilities while simultaneously advancing every supporting field. The pattern claimed by the moon landing narrative, ultimate success first, followed by permanent incapacity, It's not the pattern of real technology. It is the pattern of a story. Some attempt to explain this contradiction by appealing to funding, politics, or lack of incentive. This explanation fails. Human history shows that when access to a domain confers prestige, power, or strategic advantage, it is pursued relentlessly. The Cold War did not lack incentive. If humans could access the moon, it would not be abandoned. It would be exploited, studied, symbolized, commercialized, and integrated into long-term planning. The fact that none of this has occurred does not indicate restraint. It indicates non-access. You cannot exploit a place you cannot reach. Others appeal to recordings, demonstrations, and theoretical explanations as proof. But recordings are not independent verification. They presuppose the claim they are meant to prove. The scientific method relies on repeatability and independent confirmation. If an experiment was allegedly performed on the moon, the only way to verify it is to perform it again on the moon. That cannot be done. When direct verification is impossible, reliance on archived demonstrations becomes circular. The claim depends on accepting the claim. The argument that better computers do not make moon travel easier also misses the point. The claim is not that computers alone enable lunar travel. The claim is that every relevant supporting system, materials, modeling, redundancy, simulation, automation, and risk management has advanced dramatically. To believe the moon landing narrative, one must accept that inferior systems succeeded where vastly superior systems now fail. That's not a reasonable inference. It is an act of faith. This is where cosmology resolves the contradiction rather than complicating it. Within my understanding of reality, the moon is not a rocky terrain analogous to land or ground. It is a luminary, a light embedded in the structure of the heavens. From this perspective, human travel to it is not difficult or expensive or politically inconvenient. It is categorically impossible. That single fact explains why verification cannot occur, why access does not exist now, why it never existed before, and why the narrative relies on authority rather than reproducibility. Finally, it is important to emphasize that this position does not arise from lack of curiosity or ambition. Humans would go to the moon if it were possible. I would go. Most people would go. The persistent desire across generations, combined with permanent inability, is decisive. When desire remains and access never materializes, the limitation is not motivation, it is reality. My conclusion is therefore simple and unavoidable. Human lunar travel is impossible. The moon is not a physical destination. Claims of past capability require present demonstration, and none exists. Technologies that are real do not vanish. Incentives did not disappear. Verification cannot occur. The only explanation that accounts for all these facts simultaneously is that the moon landing did not happen. That is my position, and it is internally consistent, logically grounded, and complete. And now, finally, if I have a little bit more time, James, may I please share a video really quick?
Ready.
Okay, let me try to do this quickly here. Where is it?
If you haven't yet, folks, hit that like button. We do appreciate your support. And we're ready for you, Matthew. So far, it's showing the YouTube page.
Okay, let me, do you It should be a black screen, right? Do you see a
Yes,
black screen?
that's
Okay.
right.
Now watch this. I was using a Nikon P1000 and I captured the full moon. This was August 23rd or something, 2023. My point being is that, look at this. The moon does not have craters. The moon has glowing rings and areas of darkness and areas of light. You see this, James?
Yes, I do, as well as myself in the bottom right, but that's okay.
Okay. Tjump, you see this? Does he see it?
Yes, I see it. I see all of the physical deformities on the physical object.
Okay, let me pause it. Now we're looking at you on the screen. See this? This proves that the moon, it does not have craters. Because if these were craters, maybe the suggestion is that these are like radiation rings left by impacts or something like that. But look at this. My point being, look at these are glowing rings on the moon. You know, this is what the moon is. See, it's beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. I've never seen such a high quality image of the moon. This is not edited. This is not CGI. This is Nikon P1000, baby. This is not a rock. This is not some thing getting hit by little rocks. The moon is beautiful. It's a light. It's in the firmament. We cannot get to it. And these are glowing rings of light with little spots of light. It's absolutely beautiful. And with that, I guess I'll yield the rest of my time so we can, I'll end this share right now.
You got it. Thank you very much for that big, beautiful opening. What we're going to do is switch it over to Tjump for his opening as well, but a quick couple of housekeeping things. First, folks, if you haven't yet, hit that like button. We do appreciate your support. If you haven't been here yet, Modern Day Debate is a fully neutral platform. I'm your host, Dr. James, and if you have been living in a cave on Mars with your fingers in your ears, and you didn't know DebateCon 7 is going to be in Houston, Texas, Saturday, January 31st, what are you waiting for? Check out the link in the description box, as well as the link pinned at the top of the chat. Get your tickets. We're expecting it to sell out. It's going to be amazing. As you can see at the bottom right of your screen, it is stacked with talent. With that, we're going to jump into Tjump's opening. Thanks for being with us. Tom, the floor is all yours.
All right, so topic is the moon landing fake. The answer is no. We have been to the moon. The moon is a rock. It is floated in space. There's an atmosphere. We can get up there. It's not a light, because if it was a light, why does it have all the different textures on it? A light doesn't need textures. Very strange thing to say about an object floating in space that we just looked at a picture of. There's a whole bunch of different textures and looks like holes, some kind of rings of different shapes and sizes. If it's not physical, why would it have any of those things? That doesn't make any sense at all. If it's not physical, why do we even see it? If it's not physical, how does light bounce off of it? There's a whole bunch of problems introduced if the moon isn't physical. But there's lots of ways to prove the moon is physical. One is ham radios. You can use ham radios. You can build one in your backyard. You can bounce radio signals off the moon. If it was a part of the firmament, the ham radios would not bounce off of it, because it would bounce off the entire firmament equally. And they wouldn't. And they don't. Like when you build a ham radio, when you point it at the moon, it only reflects back when it hits the moon, a solid object. Just like if there was a bunch of nothing and you put a tennis ball in the middle of nothing, the radio waves would bounce off of the tennis ball. We can also know that we went to the moon because there are reflectors on the moon that anybody with a powerful enough laser can verify. You can bounce lasers off of the moon and it will reflect back, and you can read the ratings. And it doesn't work anywhere else. Any other inch of the moon you pointed at, it won't do it. So how does that happen if it's not physical? How does a laser, a big beam of light, reflect off one point, but not every other point if it's a big object? Why do we not see reflections from the firmament from every point in the firmament? Why do they somehow stop in the parts where we see nothing? It doesn't make any sense. We also know that we've been to the moon from the textures of the moon rocks. They are not Earth moon rocks. We know that because they were formed in places that have no atmosphere over long periods of times, exposed to radiation and gases that are only able to be expressed in places with no atmosphere. Because like if you try to blow levels of hydrogen with nothing else into the top of a rock, it'll be filled with oxygen and nitrogen and a whole bunch of other stuff that doesn't exist in the non-atmospheric moon. We also know that it's comes from a non-atmospheric place because there is glass and little chunks of iron from being hit millions of times by asteroids, where it melts things, leaves the melted impressions, melts glass and silicon and turns it into melted fragments, which are added to the entire layer of the rock through and through, because it's happened millions of times. If we did that in the lab, we couldn't do that because it can't happen millions of times in the lab. We don't have millions of years, especially by his worldview. So we know for a fact the moon rocks come from the moon because they don't have the physical traits possible here on Earth. We can measure the laser reflectors on the surface of the moon. We can measure that the moon is a physical object with ham radios. And the reason we can't go back is because we disabled the moon lander. So the moon lander isn't just a box we can just glue together. It is an ecosystem of air and water and filtration systems that are uniquely built in order to get a human from an orbit around the moon to land on the moon. We disabled it. We didn't build another one. There just isn't another one. So you need to build another one. And it takes time to build another one. It takes years for each and every part to be tested and retested and verified that it's safe for these kinds of tricks. It's not an overnight process. So the reason we can't go back right now is the same reason we can't make a cancer treatment right now. The process to do so takes years and years and years and lots of verification and red tape in order to just get off the ground. So it's not because we don't have the technology. It's because the things we built to do it, decayed over time because it's been like 50 years. So in order to make a new one, we'd have to build them from scratch, which will take years to do, which is exactly what they're doing with the new Apollo mission. So yes, we can go back to space technologically, and we are going to go back to the moon in like the next 5 years, I think, or next year or something. I don't remember. So yes, we have been to the moon. We can prove it, and it's not a magical space light.
Wow. With that, we're going to jump into the open dialogue. Folks, just a quick reminder, at the end, we'll have the Q&A session. If you have questions, submit them in the old live chat. You can tag me with that Modern Day Debate. It has to be in the form of a question. Or if you use the super chat, you can make a comment instead of a question, and it goes to the top of the list for the Q&A. With that, thank you very much, gentlemen. The floor is all yours.
Okay, so what's up, Tjump? Pleasure to have this back and forth with you. But I think you're slightly misunderstood in your understanding of the flat Earth. The reason a signal might bounce off from somewhere in the sky is because of the firmament dome solid structure above the Earth. That's what, under, say, my cosmology, that's why there would be different types of return readings and stuff from the ranging that scientists.
Wait, I didn't understand anything you just said. So you're saying there's a physical
I'll
dome.
slow it down for you. Okay, I'll slow it down.
Slowing it down doesn't help. So there's a physical dome, that's the firmament, right? And why would it read differently at one point of the physical dome rather than a different point of the physical dome?
There could be many reasons for that. There could be, like, say, the moon has its own type of light, so it would interact with the surface of the firmament, like, say, on our side and below,
like
the sublunar or sub-solar points. It would have.
I'm not understanding.
Readings.
Pause for a second. I don't understand your comment there about light. So a ham radio creates radio waves. Radio waves are unaffected by light.
I get. My point is, I wanted to just really quickly explain that. That's why there would be different things bouncing off, like different types of energy waves.
What's why?
To answer your question, you said it would be impossible, and I just wanted to clarify that under my cosmology, it would bounce off of that. And
I understand, but I didn't understand your explanation.
Really quick, under the heliocentric model, the globe Earth, radio waves bounce off the ionosphere as well.
Sure.
So there could be different explanations for the data that people have when they try to do lunar ranging. That's the point.
I don't understand what you said there. So you're right.
You want me to slow? Maybe the point is, do you want me to slow down?
Well, no, it's not the words that you're saying that I don't understand. It's the logical sequence of things that are occurring in your brain to get from premise to conclusion. So wait, I'm going to ask some clarifying questions here. So
thank you.
I agree, you are right that radio waves do bounce off the ionosphere.
Okay.
But they all bounce off at the same distance. There's no like magic one that's like 50 miles up.
Tjump, you got to admit that with those systems, there's a lot of assumptions being made. And a lot
Well,
of information could be
assumptions-
disregarded because it is not the information that is being sought.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So I don't
Have you
care
ever
about
heard
any
the
of the
phrase,
assumptions.
you don't find what you're not looking for?
We find what we're not looking for all the time. Science has literally done that. I can literally
Gotcha,
give you an
but that's
example
the
off the top
point.
of my head. Well,
It's
no.
like,
I'm
if
saying
you're
you're
not
wrong.
looking
I'm
for
saying
something,
you're
not going to
wrong.
find it. That's the point. And then
No,
a lot of logic
I'm
becomes
saying you're
circular.
wrong. There are lots and lots of cases where we're not looking for something, but we find it. Like in the case of the guy who discovered, what was it? Infrared radiation, where you had the lights, all things light lined up, and he wasn't looking for the last one.
Yeah,
he put it there for
invisible light.
control,
What a crazy idea, huh?
and he found it by not
Yeah,
looking for it.
invisible light.
So I don't. That's not what your statement was wrong, but it was irrelevant to what my question was. Is why? Because the measurement for the ionosphere is the same wherever we point it. It's always going to be the same because it's
Wow,
the same
funny,
distance.
isn't that? Funny, huh? Funny, it's exactly what you want it to be.
Well, it's not. Why would I want it to be the same? It's got nothing to do with what I
Because
want.
there's a lot, it has to do with interpretation of the data. And it also
number.
comes with
It
the
just says the
assumption
same
of the
number.
model as well. That's why a lot of these systems, they're say, ideally suited to find exactly what you want.
Why does it give the same number wherever direction we point it?
I don't know. Maybe that's consistent with the firmament being there. Because under my model, there's a firmament. Under yours, there's this layer that radio waves bounce off of.
Yep. And then they go further than that and bounce off of things behind that. Like,
well,
the
that's also
moon.
an assumption. You know, we need to get there
No.
to verify it. That's the point of my speech. Also, is that
Well,
we
we've been
need to
there.
verify these things, not just
We did.
accept them.
We did verify them. We went to the moon and brought back rocks. And
We didn't.
oh, I wanted to ask you about your light thing. So why, if the moon is magic light, why does it have textures?
Do you remember the video I showed in my presentation? It does
Yes,
have
very
different,
clearly.
because it has a beautiful mixture of light and darkness, as well as
Why?
glowing rings.
Isn't that a physical object, has lots of different densities
No,
and
light
things?
can have textures too, depending on the
Light can
source
have
of
textures.
projection.
Okay,
Depending
so
on the
what
source
is
of
creating
projection.
a diversity of different textures in little ring shapes and like millions of little ring shapes if it's not a physical object?
No,
Magic?
that's a good question. Tjump, that's a good question. The real answer is, from my point of view, God made the moon. It's not like
Out of what?
someone like you or I constructed it through advanced engineering. That's
Out of what?
You mean the moon, the source?
what-
We can't
If it's
get
not
there.
physical, what
Tjump,
did he
that's
make it
my
out of?
point. We can't get there. That's my point.
Wait,
we
so-
can't
so-
get there to get a scoop of the moon.
That's a really interesting point that you make there. So if we can't get there to verify, how do you know it's not physical?
Well, because we can't verify that it is physical. All we can see is the light.
Pause there for a second. So we can't verify that it's physical, therefore it's not physical.
Yeah, to
But
us,
we also- wait,
for all
wait,
intents and
there's a
purposes,
second
wait,
part. Wait,
Tjump, for us, it is
Ugh.
essentially it's not physical. We cannot ever grasp it.
Right.
from
I
where we are.
have the point I'm trying to get to here. So
Okay.
you said we can't get there to verify it's physical, therefore
Yeah.
it's not physical. Now let's
Well, to
argue favors.
us-
That's a separate. Wait, stop.
us, it's only gonna be a light in the sky.
Stop. There is a second part to the statement. Stop
Okay,
interrupting.
gotcha.
So you said we can't go to the moon, therefore we can't verify it's not physical. But guess what? If I agree that we can't go to the moon, that means we also can't verify it's magic space goo. So
You know,
based off of your argument,
maybe from that point of view, I could understand what you're saying. Maybe you also would like to verify it. You would like to verify that it is a rock going up there, right?
sure.
You
Go
would-
one more step. Go one more
Tjump,
step.
would you go to the moon if it were possible?
No,
Why not?
it's a rock in space. I would rather stay here with my comfy chair. But I wanted to.
That's
so-
fair answer. That's a fair answer. I would
so
go.
There was one
And
more
I'm
thing.
wondering
there.
why
So
we can't
I totally
go there.
agree with your logic there. That if we could verify it, that would be great. But you seem to have made an extra jump there that doesn't seem to make sense. You're saying we can't go there, therefore it's not physical with an exclamation point.
Yeah, and that
But have you
exclamation
been
point
there?
is the barrier that we cannot
Have you
cross.
have you been there?
Listen, Tjump, where we are, the moon is just light.
Well, that's great.
Where
Let's
we
just
are,
grant, let's
plane
just
of
grant that.
existence, where we are, the
Okay.
reality we exist in, the moon is not a rock.
Okay,
It's
that's
only
great. But
light.
I don't care. So you said a
I
statement.
don't care. That's
that
beautiful. It's
contradicts
a
what you
beautiful
own said.
cosmological
Stop,
reality.
You said a
How
statement
God
that
created
contradicts
reality,
yourself.
T-Jump. It's beautiful how God made this place.
Why are you evading the argument?
I'm sorry.
Sounds like
let's
you're
go
trying
back
to
what you're saying.
evade an argument. So
Let's go back to what you're saying.
you made a statement that contradicted your own worldview. Now, I agree with very part of your statement. If we can't go there, we can't verify what it is at all, whether it's physical or non-physical.
I can
right?
agree with that. We cannot verify what it is. We can't get there. You and I both cannot verify what it is. We cannot get there. So do you see how you're agreeing with me?
Absolutely, 100%.
We agree.
If we couldn't go there.
We agree that we cannot go there to verify it.
No. If we can't go there,
how you're losing the debate with that?
Claim what it is. Wait, so you would agree? If we can't go there, we cannot claim to know what it is.
Well, we can use the extent of our knowledge, the extent of what we have, and the extent of what our knowledge is that it's not a place we can get to.
Okay, that's great.
We can't get a rock we can get to.
Let's just, for the sake of argument, let's just say we can't get there. If we can't get there and we can't verify what it's made of, why are you making a very silly assumption that you know what it is if you can't get there either?
Because it's our reality. It's everything about our reality is that it's just a light in the sky. There's nothing tangible about the moon. There's nothing like we can go there and, bounce around in 1/6 gravity. You and I can't play golf up there.
But you can't get there.
We can't.
How are you making these silly claims if you can't get there to verify it?
It's like we can't get there.
I agree. Let's say we can't get there.
Like,
why are you making claims of what it is if you can't get there?
Because that's the limitation of our reality. That's the limitation of our experience. We'll never experience it as anything other than light.
Okay, that's
part of my point, dude. We can't get through the heavenly barrier.
Okay. So if we can't get through the heavenly barrier, that means we have no information about it. But you're claiming to know stuff about it. You're claiming you're acting as if you've been to the moon. Wait, one sec.
That's all we get.
You're acting as if you've been to the moon and you've verified that it's not made of rock. You're like saying all of these things, all this knowledge that you've accumulated by visiting the moon, that you know it's not a rock, but you can't go there, and you admit you can't go there.
Yeah.
And the standard you hold everyone else to is that you can't claim it's physical unless you've been there. But for some reason, you can. You have magic authority to not be there and make claims about what it is.
It's called a default position.
Why is the default position magic, non-physical light?
Because that's all, T-Jump. That's all we experience.
Where did you ever?
You and I are never going to experience going up to a magical ball in the sky. We're never going to go to that ball in the sky and jump around and float. That's never going to happen.
Okay, so
we're never going to be up there. We're never going to be up there playing golf. Okay. Nothing. You're not going to be able to sit in your chair up on the lunar surface because there is no lunar surface.
That's great. So I like your methodology. Your methodology is if we don't know something, we should default to knowledge we already have in our experience, right?
We should not overstep and make assumptions. We should.
I agree. You mean like that it's not made of physical nature?
To what is real to us? Like, let's not go into like fantasy. What's real to us?
Can you show me a non-physical object that produces light?
A non-physical? You mean like a hologram or something? Like a projected hologram?
That is light, but that doesn't produce light. What is a non-physical object that produces light?
Oh, well, you mean like Aurora Borealis?
No, that's a physical object. That's atmosphere.
Oh, I don't know. It's possible, though. I don't know.
Sure, it's possible.
I mean, you mean like, do you want me to create this or something? I don't understand your question.
Okay, so let me break it down for you. So,
okay, thank you.
I agree with what you said earlier that we should use what's in our. If there's something we don't know, we should use what's in our sphere of experience to try and fill in that unknown. But in my sphere of experience,
no, that's not correct. That I hold to a much more stricter form of what I perceive to be reality. We can't just fill in the blanks.
Oh no, I'm not saying. I'm saying like as hypothesis. So if we don't know what's there, we can't just make up a new thing no one's ever seen before and just put it in the hole. Like, so if there's someplace like a box we don't know about, we can't say it's a magic leprechaun. No one's ever seen the magic leprechaun. You could say it's a book because we have lots of evidence of books. You could say it's a rock because there's lots of evidence of rocks. You can never say it's a magic leprechaun because there's no evidence of magic leprechauns. Now, if we apply the same principle to the moon, and say, no one's ever been to the moon. We don't know what it is.
Yeah.
We could fill in maybe the moon something like a rock because we have lots of rocks.
Well, people,
but we couldn't say.
I guess you're right. People could come up with whatever they wanted. They could say whatever they wanted.
There's one more sentence there. We could never say the moon is some kind of magic, non-physical thing that produces light, because nowhere in our entire lives have we ever seen a non-physical thing that can produce light. So to say that the moon is not physical and it produces light is to say it's a magic leprechaun with a big booty.
Okay, I get what you're saying. So you're saying somehow it's producing light under your heliocentric assumptions of cosmology. Like that's
I don't care about the producing light part. Well, the producing the light part isn't important. It's the non-physical part that's important.
Yeah, it's not physical to us. It's not physical. Okay. We're never going to be able to touch it or go there.
Okay, so if we can never go there,
let's go. That's my point. Tjump. Let's go to the moon.
I mean, I don't want to, but I'm going back to
let's verify all of these ideas and go.
So I'm a philosopher. I am not a scientist. I like philosophy. And what you just said, there is a really big problem in your philosophy, in the way that
I want to go to the moon and verify it. You're telling me I have a problem.
I like that.
My philosophy because I want to verify.
Oh no, that part's
fine. Told this story, this fairy tale.
That part's totally fine. I am in 100% agreement that wanting to verify things is good.
That's my position, dude. That's the disadvantage you have in this debate, is that I'm on the side of, hey, let's verify this. Let's go there. Why aren't we going there? Why are they? But again, I'm not even talking about these weird little anomalies that people usually bring up.
But we haven't quite gotten there yet. So again, the problem with your worldview comes
50
before
years
that.
ago we went there, allegedly.
You're telling me I mean, in this argument. I'm talking about in this argument, in order to get to the point where we should verify the moon, first we have to make sure your logic is internally consistent.
It is.
And it's not.
It is absolutely internally consistent.
Okay. I think try to internally consistent explain this part to me. If I say we don't know something, I don't know what's in this box, or I say no human can ever know what's in this box, but then I claim it's not a potato. Do you see a logical problem with that claim?
Okay, with what you said, in that situation, the problem is we would be able to open the box and verify it. Whatever if it was a Schrodinger's cat, whether it was
that's not a
light
part,
waves or light particles in a box, we could open the box and somehow verify it.
The very first sentence I said, very first sentence said, if there is a box that no one can ever look into, no one can ever access the box.
Oh, you like that?
So that's the first premise. Second premise, I make a claim. There is not a potato in the box. Where do you see a logical contradiction between those two claims?
It would be a belief system that you have to say that there's no potato, because like you said, you'd never be able to open it and verify it. So it would be like something like how I believe in God and I believe in the Son of God. Like, but that's the same limitation. I mean, in order to see the Lord, we probably have to pass away and be at the judgment. Just so we can't verify that either. Belief in Jesus Christ is faith.
Okay. So we've made great.
It's not like I can prove to you that Jesus existed. That's not.
So we've made some amazing progress here. So that means that there has to be a way to confirm something without being there.
Negative, because there's a lot of assumptions involved.
Oh, okay. So
because I know exactly what you're talking about. Like what you're saying is, let's assume this. Let's assume these distances. Let's assume the surface is what it is, and then when the energy comes back, let's assume it's this, and let's exclude what we don't want. We can categorize that as noise.
My irony counter is going off a little bit. Just the irony.
Bing.
Yes, indeed. So you're saying there's a box we can never visit, and it's irrational to say that we know what is or isn't in the box. If we can't go there, you can't say what's in it, right?
Yeah, well, but the difference is the moon, we can see the light of the moon. And there's some sort of effect the moon has as far as temperature goes, but I've never done any experiments with that.
I mean, I agree.
But
Definitely the
people
moon
saying
does
that like the
change
moonlight
temperature.
is cold or something. I've never done any tests, but that would be cool to
Well, it's
experiment
also
with that.
there are cases where it can lower temperature via induction, and there are cases where it can increase temperature.
Yeah, so there's something about the moon that you would already know there's something energetic about what's happening with the moon.
Yes, it's made of energy because it's matter. Matter is made of energy. Yes,
Well,
but
can there be energy without matter?
Yes, there can be energy without matter. Yes,
There you go. There you go.
The moon is matter, though. But so
well,
I'm still trying to
okay,
process.
wait, Tjump. We can agree that there is light and energy coming from the moon, but we do not agree about whether the moon is physical or non-physical. So that's why I'm saying let's verify this.
Sure,
let's get going.
But there's a problem
and settle this.
You haven't verified it, but you're still making claims about what you know it is. That would be like if I said, I've never been to the moon, but I believe it's physical, even though we've never been there. Would that be silly?
That's okay. That's okay. That you can believe that if you want. Okay. Let's verify it.
Okay. And until we verify,
that's fair. That you can believe that. It's okay.
Verify. What would be the?
I don't hate you. You're not stupid. You know, I've never called you stupid or anything like that. You can believe that if you want.
I'm totally fine if you call me stupid. Totally fine.
Nah, let's say you're not a jerk. I wouldn't say things like that.
If we can't verify the moon, what is the rational position to believe about the moon?
Whatever our experience is of it, we're limited by what's actually happening in reality. That's why I would like my whole point. Man, I've said this probably 17 times. Let's verify it. Let's go there. There's no excuse for us not to be going to the moon.
What is our experience of the moon?
We're limited, just that it's light. There's energy reactions taking place. It has a beautiful cycle.
And have we ever experienced anything in the world that produces light that isn't physical?
See, but the where we're differing here is that I would say the moon is part of the heavenly structure. So it's not like physical reality like how we are. It's something different.
Where is anything here on the world that is like that heavenly reality? Can you have an example?
Dude, that's why we're the earth level. We're like the middle earth, Midgard. You know, the earth plane.
So if we can only use things that we can experience as evidence, and we can't experience any magic stuff, why are you concluding that magic stuff is the moon?
It doesn't have to be magic. I think that's kind of a
derogatory.
I wouldn't say derogatory. Just it's like there's so much more to it because we don't exactly know what it is. We cannot verify exactly what is causing the moon to cast the light down on the earth. We cannot get there to verify it.
Okay, let me
see my point. At least Tjump. Do you see my point? Like where I am, at least. You know,
I see. I
want to get there.
Oh yeah, I think that the desire to verify evidence is extremely good, and it's one of the pillars of science. It is phenomenal.
Thank you, man.
Now I want to go with an analogy here. Let's imagine that there are two people. Two people, and one of them says that no one can ever go to the bottom of the ocean. He's wrong. We've been there, but he doesn't believe it. It's just impossible. Doesn't believe it. Now he's claiming that the bottom of the ocean is made of cheese. And you ask him, well, have you been to the bottom of the ocean? He's like, well, no one can ever be to the bottom of the ocean. And you ask, well, why do you think it's made of cheese if you've never been there? And he's like, oh, well, I just have a belief. I have a belief, and I have to base it off of my experience, what we experience. And I've experienced cheese. And like, have you ever seen cheese at the bottom of a lake? No. Have you ever seen cheese at the bottom of a river? No. Have you ever seen cheese anywhere at the bottom of water? Does cheese is produced at the bottom of water? No. But he still says, I think cheese is at the bottom of the ocean. Is that a silly belief?
I would say so, because there's no evidence to suggest that anything is coming up as cheese from the bottom of the ocean or anything. Like, wouldn't there be like mozzarella coming up or whatever, ricotta cheese come into the surface and be like, oh, wow, we found this load of cheese down there in a cavern. You know?
Yeah, that's a really good point. So if we
But
never
the difference
see,
is with what I'm saying is that we're only getting the light from the moon and these energetic reactions. We're
well, so
never
here's
there. Like we can't go play golf on the moon.
right,
You know what I mean?
right, yes,
That's
absolutely,
my point.
100%
So
agree,
that's why I
100%
would say
agree.
let's
But
go.
here's the
Let's
connection:
go.
the cheese in this analogy isn't the light. The cheese is a non-physical object. Have you ever seen a non-physical object? Have you ever touched one?
Yeah,
Is there
but
anyone
cheese is a
ever?
physical object, though.
Right. So the point of the analogy is.
So your analogy is kind of falling apart a little bit. But
So-
I'll give
so
you the
point of the
benefit of the
anal-
doubt. I'll give you
Sure,
the benefit
go
of the
ahead.
doubt.
So the point of the analogy is, if there's something you've literally never seen happen before, nothing you've ever seen, no examples of it ever, like a non-physical object, is it rational to assume that there's no evidence of such an object, that
Well,
this
you know
thing
what?
there's no evidence for exists in a place that you
You know
can't
what?
verify?
Tjump, you're reminding me of a scientific experiment that supports my position and biblical cosmology. Have you ever heard of the experiment called Star in a Jar?
Nope.
You never heard of Star in a Jar? How they use sound waves to create light in water? That reminds me of the story of Genesis, how there was just like water above and then God spoke, right? And that which would create sound. So it would create light and water under the right circumstances. So I don't know if that answers your question, if I've ever seen something non-physical create light, because it would be the interaction of the water and the sound waves that created the light, such as like sonoluminescence, I think it's called. So the interaction of water and light, or water and sound, that's something physical. So what you're asking is, on the flat Earth, how would there be light made above? Because there would be that, possibly that real world example of an energetic reaction of sound and water.
What is sound made of, and what is water made of?
Different things. I mean, water would be the medium, and then the sound would be the frequency that resonates. And then when you get I don't know exactly how to do it, because it's.
Well, I'm asking a more general question.
It's an experiment that was done at USC. I think you could find it. Look up scientific. I don't know how to look for that type of stuff, but
well, I know how to make
it's a cool video.
like
Just look at Star in a Jar.
Well, I know that you can make Cherenkov radiation from water. I know you can get light from a jar of water if you energize it. Yes, 100%. I'm okay with this.
That's cool.
But the problem is there's two things you said there: water and sound. Sound is physical energy traveling through a physical field of air, usually,
which would be above under the flat Earth, because it would be water above on the other side of the firmament.
So you're saying the moon is made of physical stuff like water and air?
I don't know. I want to verify it. It's interesting,
but
though.
Didn't you just say it couldn't possibly be physical? But now you're saying it could be physical.
For our limited experience in this reality on the Earth plane, it'll never be physical for us, and we can't find out.
What is? I don't know what that means. But you just said it could be.
How do we get up there to find out?
That's physical, isn't it?
How do you and I, get up there to find out?
Well, NASA's going in a couple of years, so you can ask them.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of separate from the point I was just asking.
Here we go again, right?
You just said it was physical, and then you said it was not physical.
I don't think the moon is physical. I think it's a heavenly light. That's all our experiences of it. We're never going to experience it as a physical thing.
Light can come from water and vibrations.
Sonoluminescence.
That doesn't work.
I think it's called sonoluminescence. It's the real thing, dude. Sure. I'm using real world examples to answer. I agree.
That's an awesome example, but that's physical. And so if you're saying that that's what causes the moon, then it must be the moon's physical. And you're saying no, the moon can't be physical, which means it can't be sonoluminescence.
Not something physical, like you can't like land something on it and exist on it. There's no sort of like.
Wait, so you're saying it could be physical, but it's not. So you're saying it could be physical.
I don't know how to explain how God exactly made the moon. I'm not claiming that I know the nuts and bolts, all the fine details of how God made that beautiful light that governs the nighttime. I don't know how God did that. I would love to find out. So that question you're asking is actually a really good question. You're interested in the structure of the heavens. That's beautiful, Tjump. I didn't know you were so spiritual, man.
Sure,
That's
sure,
awesome.
sure. Very spiritual, very
Praise
spiritual. And
God.
all you have to do
Praise
is
God,
show me.
Tjump.
All you have to do to make me a believer in the flat Earth. All you got to do is show me a non-physical object that can produce light.
How the hell
and
can I
then I
do
can
that,
believe you.
dude? I cannot. You're asking me to do something like you want me to grab the moon, like swim up there somehow, grab a chunk of it, and be like, "Here, Tjump, look at this piece of the moon I brought, man." It's never gonna happen.
Never gonna happen. That's right. Never gonna happen. So
Never
if that's never gonna happen,
get it.
why is it rational to believe the moon is made of something you've never seen?
That's not rational. You shouldn't believe it. If
I agree. We're in agreement. High five agreement.
You shouldn't believe it if you can't really verify
That's
it.
a great. I love that. That's a great point.
If you do take those steps, it's an issue of faith. Like if someone believed the moon was a ball that they could land on, that's an issue of faith because they'll never be able to do it. You know, and I'm okay with religions. You know, people have different religions. You know, I believe in Jesus, and I can't prove him to you. I can't grab him and say, "Here, Tjump, look at Jesus." You know, it's an issue of faith. You know, just like how people believe the moon is a rocky thing. It's an issue of faith because we'll never get there. We've never been there. You know.
So I wanted to try another analogy for you. I want to try another analogy for you. See what you think of this one. So let's say,
okay, thank you.
We're walking in the forest and we see a hoof print. Looks like a hoof print, and I say, you know what? It's probably a horse. I've seen lots of horses in my life. Probably a horse. And person B says, no, it's a magical unicorn. And I ask him, like, have you ever seen the magical unicorn? He's like, no, I've never seen a magical unicorn, but I have faith. I have faith in the magical unicorn. And so I believe magical unicorn created that hoof print. Now we can't go back in time. We will never be able to go back in time. We will never see.
What you're talking about is like an impossible thing to even prove. You're talking about an article of faith versus something that's reasonable. But how your analogy would fall apart is this: when a donkey comes walking around the corner and it's not a horse or a magic unicorn, it's a donkey.
So we have evidence of donkeys and horses.
That's the point.
Say there's a person.
Let's confirm. Let's not jump the gun. Let's work with what we know. The person could be right. Wait a second.
We can't
the
confirm.
Person could be right, thinking, it's probably a horse. Sure. That's a good guess, right? But when the donkey shows up, it's like, okay, it has hoofs similar to a horse, but it's not a horse.
Sure. Could the person who think it's a unicorn be reasonable? Is that a reasonable belief?
Would be an issue of faith.
But would it be a reasonable conclusion? Would it be like, that's reasonable?
Because it would be considered unreasonable. Just like how people consider faith in Jesus Christ unreasonable because they can't prove him.
Why would the
issue of faith?
So this is the I'm asking a question of why would the person who believes it's a horse or a donkey, they would be reasonable. They could be wrong, but they'd be reasonable. Yeah. Why would they be reasonable, but the person who believes in the unicorn not be reasonable? What's the difference?
Because that would be something like supernatural, something like divine, and like how they have images of strange divine creatures in all mythology.
Well, I don't think that's
that would be like in the realm of God, or how
I don't think that's the issue.
Manipulation of the DNA and.
Well, so think about it this way. Think about we lived in a world where magic creatures existed all the time. Then if someone said
Pokemon?
Sure, like Pokemon. And if someone said it was a ponytail, which is a Pokemon, they'd be reasonable because we've seen lots of ponytails.
They see a lot of weird different types of Pokemon in that reality.
So it seems like what makes it reasonable isn't whether or not it's magic or not. It could, even if it's magic, it could still be reasonable if there's lots of past evidence of magic existing. But if there's no past evidence of the thing existing that you're claiming did what we're seeing, that's unreasonable, right? So if there's lots of past
wait
evidence...
a minute. Wait, let's hold on. Let's slow down a second. We're on the Earth plane. What we're talking about, the moon, that's happening above us in the
I didn't say anything about the moon.
The celestial world. And
I didn't say anything about the moon.
On Earth behaves like the stars. Nothing on Earth behaves like the moon. Nothing on Earth behaves like the sun. These are
Okay.
unique celestial objects.
Okay,
And
but
you're
that's
right
not
to
what we
ask
have.
these questions because you're curious about the structure of reality, the structure of heaven and earth. This is a very profound quest that you're on.
Okay, but I didn't say anything about the moon.
Tjump. You have leveled up.
So I didn't say anything about the moon. I said we're walking in the forest. We see a hoof print in the
Okay.
snow.
Yeah.
There are three people. Guy A believes it's a donkey. Guy B
Okay.
believes it's a horse. Guy C believes it's a unicorn.
Okay.
A and B are both reasonable. They're both reasonable beliefs.
Yeah.
Unicorn is not a reasonable belief.
Yeah.
And
It's
the
it'd be a
reason it's
faith,
not
article of faith at that point.
Sure. And the reason it's not a reasonable belief is because there is no past evidence of unicorns. If you've never seen a unicorn, it doesn't make any sense to say a
Tjump,
unicorn
because
did
on this
something.
earth plane, we don't see unicorns on this earth plane.
Sure. Do we see unicorns anywhere?
Only on 6 CGI and stuff like that.
Sure. So if
It's
we've
make-believe.
never ever seen a unicorn anywhere in the history of humanity, in any plane of existence, we've never seen a unicorn.
Yeah.
Is it reasonable for that person to say a unicorn did something?
I mean, maybe they're extinct if there ever were any type of.
But we've
creature
never
like
seen it.
that.
If we've
I've
never seen it, he's
I've
never
seen
verified it.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we've maybe
So
there could be
basically what you're
unicorns.
saying is that the moon cannot be a non-physical thing because nothing on Earth is a non-physical thing that gives off light. Is that what you're saying?
Close. I'm saying the moon can't be a non-physical thing, or more specifically, it's not reasonable to believe the moon is a non-physical
Like
thing.
I said, I think maybe you're not hearing my point. The moon is not on the Earth plane. The Earth is
I don't care
in
where
the
it
heavens.
is.
It's not like anything on the Earth, so you can't
Doesn't
compare
matter
the
where it
two.
is. It
What
doesn't
is
matter where
the
it is.
term? It's not analogous.
Well, it is analogous.
No,
so
because
I
it's
don't
not the
care.
same type of thing. It's like you can't compare the Earth to the heavens. It's
It
not the
doesn't make a
same
difference. So, like, say you
It
got a
does make
vision from a
it
different
makes a
dimension.
big difference, dude. It makes a
No,
big
not
difference.
really, not really. So,
Well,
say you got a
This is
vision.
where we're going to disagree because I think it is not the same. The
That's great.
heaven reality, it's not the same as the Earth reality. So
That's great.
Why would it be the same type of thing?
So
It would
say
be different. But to give
doesn't
you
matter.
more
It doesn't
credit
matter to
for your
analogy.
question is, like I said, I give you mad credit that you're interested in the structure of the heavens. You're asking questions about the nature of reality. So
I'm asking questions about your
there.
brain, about how your brain is processing things. That's what I'm asking questions about.
I
And
know,
you're not
and
answering them
I'm
very well.
glad you're doing that because we're getting somewhere with your examples. Is that it's okay to believe whatever you want, but some things can be considered irrational because we never have access to them or use it. Like a unicorn, we don't use a unicorn or see a unicorn. Just like the moon being a place we can go to, we're never going to use it, so it's not material. You're only exposed to the light and the energetic reactions. We have to agree on that. Tjump, we agree on that. We're limited on that.
No, we've gone to the moon, but that's irrelevant to the point.
No,
here.
we
So-
haven't. Tjump, you and I have not gone. Let's go. Let's go, dude.
Let's go back to the analogy. You're saying that because the distance of the moon is so different from the world that we see around us, it must be a new magic kind of stuff we've never seen before.
Well, no, we've seen it. We just can't touch it.
Seen means like empirical verification.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. We can see it, we can observe it, measure the time, but we cannot touch it and measure it, like grab it.
You're saying the stuff that we see in the sky is so different from everything we've seen around us that it must be some new category of stuff that has no evidence it exists whatsoever.
The evidence is there that it already exists. The problem is we can't go there to verify what its physicality, if it is a physical thing or not. Maybe that's a good way to put it. We cannot get there.
How does you looking at space qualify as evidence of a new kind of magic stuff?
Well, you don't have to add the word magic or new. It is something up there. We're observing it every day, every night.
So new,
it's not an issue of does it exist or not. The issue is what is the nature of its existence.
Right. And I'm asking, when you look at it, What about when you look at it? What are you seeing that gives you information of an entirely new state of reality because your eyes see stuff you can't understand? How does eyes see stuff you can't understand give you evidence that would win you 1 billion Nobel Prizes if you could discover a new kind of stuff in the universe that no one has ever messed with ever? How does you seeing
You're
stuff?
talking about the light from the heavens. Like you said, we can't like take it. We
Right.
can't grab a chunk of it.
Right. So
That's
if
my
I
point.
was, let's say I looked left and I said, I've seen something we've never seen before. It's Harry Potter magic. Would you believe me if let's say I saw Hogwarts? Would you believe me if I said I saw Hogwarts and magic is real? Would you now believe magic is real?
Well, that would be for you. I mean, that would, like I said, be like some type of religious belief or something.
Well, no, I'm saying like
if you were to say
I said I
magic
saw
is
it.
real and you can do like expecto patronum and stuff, and you're hanging
not
with
that I
like
can do it. Not that I can do it.
the
That would be, then it
Weasley
would be
kid or
reasonable.
whatever.
I'm saying I saw magic. I went to Hogwarts.
Okay,
I saw
Tjump,
magic.
the analogy is
Would
falling
you
apart.
believe me?
Listen, these analogies you're making are falling apart because we can see the moon.
You can see spells.
That's not the same thing. You
How?
know, we can see the moon in the sky from,
How is
clear.
it different?
By saying something is there that's not there. That's the difference.
What?
Like if you're saying things are existing but they're not, that's a lie. If I say we can't touch the moon, that's the truth. So for us, it's a non-physical thing.
Can we touch the past?
That sounds like a song, like a touching song, like a.
Can we go to the
touch
past? Can we see Jesus? Can I go visit
back
Jesus
in
and give him a high
time?
five? Can I go back and give Jesus a high five?
I don't believe that's possible.
No, we cannot touch the past. The past is forever
But it exists,
outside of
though,
our
right?
ability.
It was
to verify.
real. It
Yes,
really.
absolutely.
So it
We
was
can never
really
verify.
the past is a thing that we can't
Yes.
touch, but it
Yes.
existed and it still affects us. Like
Yes.
emotional things
Yes.
can affect us. So
Yes.
it's real.
So you
but it's not
agree.
physical.
So let's.
So you're equating the
connect-
moon. You're equating the moon to emotion. Man, you're a
No.
hippie, Tjump. We should be smoking some doobies and
So
talking
if we
about
can
this.
never ever visit the past, and we can never ever visit the moon. Now, if we see something like a hoof print, now this was caused by something in the past, which we can never ever
Yeah.
ever visit.
Yeah.
The only reasonable person is the one who says it's a horse. The person who says it's a unicorn is a moron.
But remember, in
Because-
that analogy, the donkey comes walking around the corner. So it's reasonable to think horse,
Yep.
but unexpected when it's actually the donkey.
We
because
don't
it's
care.
similar.
We don't
But
care about the
stretch
donkey.
to say it's a magic unicorn,
We
that's like
don't-
immaterial.
That's your belief. Your belief is the magic unicorn.
How so?
Because you believe in something, a non-physical kind of new stuff that has never been seen or discovered by anyone ever.
You just said it
like
hasn't
the
been seen.
unicorn.
Tjump, are you hearing your argument? You keep saying something that's not seen. We can see the moon. My
You
issue
looking
is
up
we
in
need
space,
to verify its
you looking
nature. We need
at
to
the
verify
light.
its nature.
Stop,
I said, let's
stop,
go there and verify
stop,
if, like, you
Stop.
think it's a physical thing.
Stop.
Okay, I think it's not a physical thing.
stop,
Let's
Stop.
go there and figure it
Stop.
out.
stop. You saying you looking up at space is not the same thing as you empirically verifying a new kind of ontology.
It's not new, and you keep saying as
What
if
do you
it's-
think the
it's
word
some
new means?
some construct that I just came up with. People have been
I
postulating
don't.
About
What,
this
what
since
do
the
you? The
beginning of
word
time.
new does not mean
It's
the
not
time,
new.
the
You keep
year